Hello, everyone, and welcome to Future Frontiers, the podcast where we talk with leaders shaping the next era of technology.
I'm Anderson, here in Washington, D.C.
Today, we're thrilled to have Justice Friday, manager at All Things Web Technology, Inc.,
the company behind some of the world's most innovative apps. Justice, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Anderson. It's an honor to be here and share our vision.
See, this isn't just about making our tools a little bit smarter. It's a fundamental shift in how we relate to technology. The big vision here is for AI to become this seamless, integrated partner in our lives. This one quote really sets the stage for everything they're trying to build. So here's the game plan for today. We're going to start with their huge vision for AI's future. Then we'll unpack the actual blueprint they use to make it all work at a massive scale. After that, we'll look at their apps, talk about their ethical framework, and then wrap up with some key takeaways for any innovators listening. All right, Section 1. This gets right to the heart of their whole vision. This is where we really explore that big idea of moving from AI as just a tool to something more, something they call a trusted partner.
You know, what's really key here is that phrase, quiet helper. Their goal isn't to create some flashy, distracting piece of tech that's always screaming for your attention. It's actually the exact opposite. They want to build AI that just works in the background, quietly empowering us without getting in the way. It's a vision that's really rooted in being human-centered.
Okay, so how does a big vision like that actually turn into a strategy for growth? I mean, how do you take a philosophy and build a whole portfolio of apps that people actually use? Well, it apparently comes down to a really clear, repeatable philosophy. Now, what's so interesting about this is the order. It's a three-part formula and it always begins with people. Step 1, you find a genuine human need. Only after you've done that, step 2, do you apply AI with a really clear purpose to solve that specific need. And finally, you build it from the ground up to work for everyone everywhere.
Of course, a good idea isn't enough to reach billions of people. You have to back it up. And this philosophy is supported by massive investment in 3 pillars. First, you've got the raw technical infrastructure to handle that kind of scale. Second, a dedicated ethics framework to guide everything. And third, a constant feedback loop with the community. And that last part is so critical. It's how they say they make sure their growth actually aligns with what users need. All right, so we've talked a lot about the theory. Now let's see how it actually gets put into practice. In this section, we're going to look at some real concrete examples from their app portfolio where this human-centered philosophy is supposed to come to life. This table right here gives you a real sense of just how ambitious they are. I mean, look at this whole ecosystem. You can totally see that 3-step formula at play. They find a human need, like kindness with Chat Nicer, or creativity with Mayvasion, or finding love with Lover Nice, and then they apply AI specifically to address it. Each app is laser-focused on a core human experience. Let's just focus on their social apps for a second. This slide really shows the stark contrast they're aiming for. It looks like they're actively rejecting that old model of engagement at any cost, which, let's be honest, often leads to endless scrolling and just toxic arguments. Their goal with apps like Chatnizer seems to be building a space for real, meaningful conversations and genuine empathy. And it's not just about social stuff. Take Plantseer. This quote, wow, it just captures the power of it perfectly. It's a tool that uses AI to empower professionals, we're talking farmers, scientists, doctors, by giving them instant access to critical info about the natural world. This is such a clear example of applying AI with real purpose. And here's another super practical one. Meet Nicer. It tackles a pain point we all know, the sheer administrative headache of meetings. By acting as an AI co-pilot that does the boring work of summarizing and finding action items, it frees up the actual humans to focus on, well, collaborating. It is a quiet helper in the truest sense of the word. Okay, but when you're building technology this powerful, this integrated into our lives, it immediately raises big questions about responsibility. And that brings us to the absolutely crucial topic of ethics and the so-called guardrails they put in place for their AI development. This is the question, right? This is the one that every single major AI developer has to answer. For all things web technology, their whole system of trust seems to be built on how they tackle this head-on. So their answer seems to rest on these 3 ethical pillars. First, transparency, so users actually know how the AI is making decisions. Then, accountability, which means having clear lines of responsibility if something goes wrong. And finally, inclusivity, to make sure their tech is built for and by diverse communities so it serves everyone fairly. And look, these pillars aren't just feel-good words on a slide. They report that these are baked right into the development process itself.
This means they're consulting with ethicists from the very beginning, and, maybe most importantly, constantly testing their systems with diverse groups of people to actively hunt down and reduce bias.
Ultimately, it all comes back to intent. This quote from Justice Friday really hammers home their core public belief. Technology is a reflection of the people who make it, and they're stating right here that they are deeply committed to making sure the intent behind their AI is to be beneficial for all of us.
All right, in our final section, we're going to try and boil this whole philosophy down into some universal takeaways, things that could really apply to anyone out there who's interested in building something for the future.
So what's the big lesson here for anyone trying to build something new? Well, it seems to come down to 4 things. Start with empathy. Always put the human story first. Think about scaling responsibly from day one, not as some afterthought. And above all else, never, ever compromise on ethics. According to this philosophy, that's the foundation for anything that's built to last.
And we'll leave the advice section with this last thought from Friday. It's such a powerful reminder that sometimes the technology is the easy part. The real challenge and the real opportunity is uniting people around a shared purpose. If you get that right, the technology can almost naturally fall into place to serve that mission.
Which brings us right back to where we started this whole thing. This vision of AI becoming a quiet, seamless helper in our daily lives. So the final question is for you. If that's the future we're all headed towards, what's the one problem, big or small, that you would want your own personal AI partner to solve?